I want you to think about the most ridiculous thing a man has ever done to prove a point to you. Did he try to carry all the groceries in one trip and crush a loaf of bread? Did he refuse to ask for directions until you were 3 states over and out of gas? Cute. Adorable, really. Now, I want you to imagine a man who, simply because a guy at a bar said, "I don't believe you," decided the only logical response was to commit grand theft aero, fly through the night sky of New York City, completely, absolutely, completely inebriated, and land a stolen aircraft on a city street. Not once, twice. Welcome back to the Audacity of Him, the channel where we explore the limitless, mind-boggling, and frankly terrifying boundaries of male hubris throughout history. I'm your host, and today we are talking about a man whose ego was so large it literally required clearance from air traffic control. Grab your wine, ladies and gents. Today we are unpacking the patron saint of toxic masculine bar bets, Mr. Thomas Fitzpatrick. Okay, let's set the scene. The year is 1956. Dwight D. Eisenhower is president. Elvis Presley is gyrating his way into the hearts of American teenagers, and men are just out there repressing their feelings and drinking martinis at 11 a.m. Enter our protagonist, Thomas Fitzpatrick. Tommy Fitz, as he was known to his friends, wasn't just your average guy off the street. He was a Marine. He fought in the Korean War. He had a Purple Heart. He was a trained mechanic. So we are dealing with a man who has already looked death in the face and said, "Not today. I have a pint waiting for me in Washington Heights." This is crucial to understanding the sheer volume of audacity we are about to witness. This man possessed the kind of dangerous post-war confidence that makes you think you can fight a bear with a rolled-up newspaper. It's September 30th, 1956. It's a Sunday. Tommy is 26 years old, and he is spending his evening the way any self-respecting 20-something in the 1950s would, getting absolutely hammered at a neighborhood tavern in Washington Heights, New York. Now, you know how bar conversations go. You start by talking about the weather, then you talk about sports, and suddenly, 3 hours and 6 pints later, you're having a deeply passionate argument about the logistics of the New York-New Jersey transit system. Tommy is talking to some guy. History doesn't even record this guy's name, which makes it even funnier to me. Let's call him Dave. Tommy tells Dave that he could make it from New Jersey to Washington Heights in exactly 15 minutes. Dave, applying basic human logic, physics, and a knowledge of 1950s traffic patterns, says, "Tommy, you're full of it. That's impossible." Listen to me very carefully. If you ever want to activate a man's sleeper cell override codes, if you ever want to unleash a demon from the depths of his fragile ego, you look at a man who has had 6 beers in the eye and say, "That's impossible." Tommy doesn't just say, "Want to bet?" Tommy says, "I will be right back." At around 3 a.m., heavily intoxicated, Thomas Fitzpatrick leaves the bar in Manhattan. He travels, ironically, probably taking a rather long time via subway and bus, all the way to the Teterboro School of Aeronautics in New Jersey. He gets to Teterboro at roughly 3 o'clock in the morning. And what does he do? He breaks in. He finds a single-engine plane, a Cessna 140 to be exact. Now, I don't know how to hotwire a Honda Civic, let alone a flying machine, but Tommy is a mechanic. He bypasses the security, starts the engine of this stolen aircraft, and without radioing a control tower, without doing pre-flight checks, without even having a pilot's license for this specific class of plane, he takes off into the pitch-black night sky. Just pause for a second. Put yourself in this man's shoes. You are in the sky. You are flying a stolen plane. You are drunk enough that your blood could be used to clean paintbrushes, and your only motivation is that Dave at the bar was talking smack. The sheer, unadulterated audacity. He flies across the Hudson River. He flies right past the George Washington Bridge, and then he arrives over Washington Heights. Now here is the problem. Tommy's original plan, because yes, he allegedly had a plan, was to land the plane on the field at George Washington High School. But it's the middle of the night. It's 1956. The city isn't lit up like it is today. He can't see the field. So, does Tommy fly back to New Jersey? Does he ditch the plane in the river? Absolutely not. He looks down at St. Nicholas Avenue near 191st Street and thinks, yeah, that's a runway. St. Nicholas Avenue is a city street. It has street lamps. It has parked cars. It has tall apartment buildings on either side. It is a canyon of brick and concrete. At approximately 3 a.m., the residents of Washington Heights are awoken by the roaring, sputtering engine of a Cessna 140 descending from the heavens. Tommy Fitz expertly navigates the plane through the streetlights, avoids the parked cars, and touches down seamlessly on the asphalt. He parks it right in front of the bar. He then gets out of the plane, casually walks into the tavern, which is somehow still open, finds Dave, points outside, and probably says something along the lines of, "Told you, idiot." Imagine being Dave. Imagine nursing your beer, waiting for your buddy to come back from the bathroom, and instead, he comes through the front door smelling of aviation fuel and points to a literal airplane parked on the sidewalk. Dave's audacity was silenced that night. Tommy's audacity was cemented into legend. Of course, the New York Police Department had a few questions. The cops show up and they are baffled. At first, they think it's an emergency landing. They think this poor, brave pilot had engine trouble and miraculously saved his own life by threading the needle onto a city street. The newspapers actually praised him the next morning. They called it a feat of aeronautic heroism. But then, the owner of the plane at Teterboro wakes up and realizes his Cessna is missing. The police put two and two together. They interrogate Tommy, and Tommy, bless his honest, drunken heart, confesses to the whole thing. So what happens to our aeronautical bad boy? He committed grand theft. He violated every aviation law known to the FAA. He endangered the lives of hundreds of sleeping New Yorkers. Surely he went to federal prison for a decade, right? $100. The owner of the plane was so impressed by the landing that he refused to press charges for the theft. The judge, clearly charmed by the sheer moxie of the stunt, fined him $100 for violating city ordinances forbidding the landing of a plane on a street. $100! Ladies, we pay more than that for a good haircut today. Tommy Fitz stole a plane, landed it in Manhattan, and basically got a parking ticket. If the story ended here, it would already be a masterclass in the audacity of him. It would be a phenomenal tale to tell your grandkids. Hey, Grandpa, what did you do in your 20s? Oh, nothing much. Just stole an aircraft to win a beer argument. But remember the title of this video: The Man Who Stole a Plane Twice. Let's fast forward to October 4th, 1958. It has been 2 years since the incident. Tommy is now 28. He is married. He is settling down. He's a respectable member of society. Just kidding, he's at a bar. This time, he's drinking at a tavern at Amsterdam Avenue and 187th Street. He's sitting there, minding his own business, probably telling the story of how he landed a plane on St. Nicholas Avenue. Because if you did that, you would literally never stop talking about it. You'd bring it up at funerals. You'd bring it up at the DMV. So Tommy is telling the story, and he meets another guy. We'll call this guy Steve. Steve listens to the story. Steve looks at Tommy, and Steve says, "I don't believe you. You're making that up." Steve, you absolute fool. You uneducated swine. Did you not check the historical records of the man sitting next to you? Did you not sense the chaotic aura radiating from his perfectly slicked back hair? For Thomas Fitzpatrick, history was not something to be remembered. It was a sequel waiting to be filmed. Tommy is incensed. He cannot fathom that a fellow New Yorker would doubt his legendary status. So what does a rational 28-year-old married man do? If you guessed take the train back to Teterboro, break into the aeronautics school again, steal another plane, and fly it back to Manhattan, then congratulations. You understand the audacity of him. It's almost a carbon copy of the first event, but with the added spice of, I can't believe I have to do this again. Tommy gets back to Teterboro in the middle of the night. He steals another Cessna. He takes off. He flies back over the Hudson River. Now, keep in mind, Tommy is trying to prove to Steve that he landed on St. Nicholas Avenue. But he's flying at night, he's intoxicated, and navigation isn't exactly easy when your dashboard is just a bunch of dials you're squinting at through beer goggles. He overshoots his intended target. He can't find the original bar. But the fuel is getting low, and the point still needs to be proven. So Tommy looks down at Amsterdam Avenue near 187th Street, right near the new bar, and says, "That'll do." He lands the plane, again, on a city street, in the middle of the night, perfectly. No injuries, no property damage, just a massive piece of aviation machinery blocking traffic on Amsterdam Avenue. He hops out of the plane. But this time, the vibe is a little different. The adrenaline wears off, the alcohol fog parts just enough for a single ray of reality to shine through. And Tommy realizes something crucial. Oh, right. I am definitely going to jail this time. Instead of walking into the bar to gloat to Steve, Tommy abandons the aircraft on the street and runs away into the night. The cops arrive at the scene. They see the plane, they check the tail number, they find out it's stolen from Teterboro. The NYPD detectives look at each other, sigh deeply, and say, Is it him again? They track down Tommy. They arrest him. And this time, the justice system is not quite as charmed. The boys will be boys defense doesn't really work when the boy is committing repeat airborne felonies. The judge overseeing the second case was Judge John A. Mullen, and Judge Mullen was absolutely furious. He told Tommy, "You are a menace to this city." Tommy's defense lawyer tried to plead for leniency, pointing out Tommy's military service and the fact that he was, quite frankly, a really, really good pilot to pull off those landings twice without killing anyone. Tommy himself stated in court that he only did it the second time because the guy didn't believe the first story. Judge Mullen gave him 6 months in jail. Honestly, still a bargain. 6 months in jail for stealing a second airplane to prove a point? People get more time for stealing flat-screen TVs. Thomas Fitzpatrick served his time. He got out. He went back to his life. He worked as an iron worker, helping to build the skyline of the city he once terrorized from the skies. He stayed married to his wife Helen and had 3 sons. By all accounts, he lived a normal, quiet life until he passed away in 2009 at the age of 79. He never flew a plane again. He didn't need to. He had already solidified his place in the pantheon of absolute madmen. So, what is the moral of this story? What can we learn from the legend of Tommy Fitz? First of all, to all the guys out there, if you're at a bar and you tell a wild story and your buddy says he doesn't believe you, just let it go. Show him a Wikipedia article. Pull out your phone. Do not steal a commercial aircraft. The era of getting away with that for $100 is over. We have radar now. We have F-16s. It will not end well for you. Second, the next time a man tries to gaslight you into thinking you're overreacting, just remember the benchmark of male behavior. Remember that a man once committed 2 separate federal crimes simply because another man called him a liar. Their egos are delicate ecosystems. Treat them with the caution they deserve. And finally, if you are ever in Washington Heights and you find yourself near 191st and St. Nicholas or 187th and Amsterdam, take a moment to look at the street. Imagine a 26-year-old mechanic dropping a Cessna out of the sky just to win a petty argument. That, my friends, is the audacity of him. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Audacity of Him. If you enjoyed this story, you know exactly what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below. Smash the like button. Smash it like Tommy Fitz smashed aviation regulations. And please, get in the comments and tell me, what is the most audacious, ridiculous, unnecessarily elaborate thing a man has ever done to prove a point to you? I want to read all of them. I'll be pinning the craziest one. Until next time, keep your standards high and your tolerance for nonsense low. I'll see you next week. Cheers.